Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I am really excited to have my very special honored guests with me. Greg Rikaart is celebrating his 20th anniversary on Daytime, which is unbelievable. This July, this month is your 20th. And Liz Hendrickson is celebrating her 15th anniversary on The Young and the Restless, 22 years in Daytime. And let's not also say that Kevin and Chloe have had years together on and off, right? So welcome, both of you. Greg, how does it feel knowing it's been 20 years? Let's just get there. Do you feel old?
Yes. But also like
next like one to
Go ahead. No, go
ahead. I've allowed myself the time to sort of like take in the milestone and really sort of appreciate what a big deal it is, and I'm proud of myself. And it's hard to make a living doing this, and that we've been at it for 22 and 20 years is something.
And Liz, I remember you I do remember 2001 and All My Children, and you came on as Frankie. And I was like, who is this Spitfire? And I remember going, she's so good. And do you remember like getting the part? Like, what was the audition process like to start?
I don't necessarily remember the exact audition, but I do remember Judy Bly Wilson's office very well. I mean, Judy also is one of my favorite people, and a lot of us owe our careers to her. But I do remember my first day, and I was run over by, or I was hit by a car, and turned out to be Erica Kane, and I remember just laying there, kind of on this cold, very cold studio floor, scared out of my wits. And everyone had their scripts, and I didn't have my script there. I mean, I was so green. I mean, I had like maybe done one thing. And it was all just kind of surreal because I was 20 years old and I was living my dream. Like all of a sudden I was like, this is it. Like, you're on set with Susan Lucci and you don't have to go to school today. like you're doing it. Like, you got the job. So it was a really big deal for me.
And Greg, what do you remember about getting the part of Kevin? You had done some primetime work, right? Before.
Yes. And unlike Liz, I was a little bit older. I moved out here when I was 21, I think, and then started to get a little bit of work when I was like 24, 25. So I had a few years of just hustling and waiting tables. I painted houses. I worked at a clothing store, so I would have like decent clothes for my auditions. And then when Dawson's Creek was my first sort of steady job, and when that ended, I was back in LA and not much was happening, and I got a call to come in for a 2 or 3 week gig on Young and Restless. And I think there is a special place reserved for the casting directors of Judy's ilk, and Marnie Saida belongs in that category too, because Judy, I know so many people owe their careers to, and Marnie, I think the list for Marnie is probably equally as long.
So long.
So I remember auditioning for Marnie, and her just being so incredible. And when you go in and read with Marnie, she'll chit chat for a few minutes, make you feel comfortable, and then when it's time to read the scene, she'll take her sides and just put it down on her desk, and she's off book. And that's really helpful because you're getting a performance and you have something to play off of. And so I remember that pretty well. And then famously, the story I always tell is that when I came back from my callback, there was a scripted line where Kevin is yelling at Lily that she's told somebody about this inappropriate relationship that we've had. And he says to her, well, who did you tell? And she's like, I don't remember. And he screams at her. He's like, damn it, Lily, will you think? And it's in the script, it was exclamation, like he's all bold print. He's screaming at her. So I had the pages like folded in my hand because I was off book at that point. And I remember when I said the line, I didn't even plan it, but I just said, damn it, Lily, will you think? And I smacked my hand with the pages, and it made a really loud noise. And Ed Scott and Kathy Foster, everyone in the room just kind of did one of those. And I was like, oh, if you don't screw this up from now until the end, this is your part. And I've never had that experience before or after.
Amazing. And I just remember you coming onto the show and you looked like the total bad boy troublemaker thing. And was that one of the highlights of your career at that time, playing him? Because he was so troubled.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So bad,
a dream
right?
come true, truly. Like as many of us go through sort of like rough times in our 20s of dealing with heartbreak and being on your own for the first time, there was like a lot of like upheaval in my life, and I had this outlet that I was able to just sort of channel all that into, and it was easy. It was really easy for me to play all that emotional stuff because it was kind of just percolating right below the surface. Yeah, it was dream job.
And Liz, when they killed off Frankie, were you devastated?
So I actually knew that it was only going to be a 3-month contract.
Okay.
That was one of the things I knew going early on into the job. They said, this is only going to be a 3-month contract. It's a short gig. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And then the fans petitioned to have me back, and leave it to soaps, come back as your twin sister. So there I was, and and they brought me back.
It was Bam.
It was Bam.
It was
Bianca and Maggie. Me and Eden Regal.
And what I love about both of your histories, not only do you play a couple on Y&R, but you both played gay characters on the soaps too, which is such a amazing thing, because you all know there's not that many gay characters on soaps. And so you both have had that in your career. What was it like back then for you? Because you were back in the the dark ages.
It was the dark ages, so much to the point where there were these online chats, and it's where a lot of people actually met their significant others and are still married to this day. Wow. And they said that it was the only outlet and the only way that they had to connect and meet someone like them. And it was like old school chats, like AOL chat, like, or not even like like iMessage. Like, I don't even know how those chats happen. I don't even know. Like, and also, and this was also a big deal for ABC, and I just remember when our first kiss was supposed to happen, and there was a lot of talk around that and how the kiss should go and how far we could go with the kiss. And it was very closed-mouthed.
Right, you could do like a knuckle thing on that. I mean, I remember Crystal Chappelle telling me on Guiding Light with Jessica Lucia, they were playing, two lesbian, but they couldn't kiss. They had to like do a knuckle thing or like a touch on the forehead.
Yeah, it was basically that. It was basically like we kissed and they were like, and cut. And then it was funny because they cut right to an extremely, like, I think it was like a menage a trois scene in the shower with two brothers and a wife, and it was Alexa Haven's character and Jacob Young and Babe and JR. And I just remember watching it and being like, what? This is so unfair. And how is that not okay? And this is like, what? But listen, the fact that that we were able to even do what we did, and it was groundbreaking, and we were one of the first lesbian super couples of daytime, and it spoke to a lot of people and we changed a lot of lives. So I would say it is the most rewarding character I've played in my career.
Well, I have a special guest that's with me that's going to come here and say hello to both of you.
Oh, is it going to be Eden Regal?
Well,
no.
We'll be back with that.
I don't know who that is.
Here's my special guest, Rebecca Bonig.
Stop celebrating Greg Rikaart for a minute and just focus on Lizzie. I mean, I get Lizzie.
I was like, who is that? Because it came up as Benson.
It's Rebecca
Rebecca.
Budding, your
Hi,
bestie.
Greg.
Rebecca, hi. It's so nice to see you.
Is it
Hi,
nice to
nice
see
to
her?
see
Is it, Greg?
It's very nice to see you.
It is nice to see you. You look
This
great.
is gonna be the best part of the whole
Strike that from the
show. I'm
record.
here
Strike it
for
from
it.
the record that I just said that.
Rebecca, tell me about knowing these two, about your friendship with Greg, which is totally
Friendship?
yeah, I guess a rivalry.
It's more like hate love.
Yeah. It's more like
live for
frenemies
it.
if you take
I
the
live for
FR
it.
part out.
Anytime one of them posts something, all I look for are their comments towards
Me
each other
too.
because
Me too.
they are the best. I mean, they should have a podcast.
We should have a podcast.
We should have done a lot of things.
Well,
But
we're
you
not
know,
dead.
I can
We
never
still do stuff.
get him to commit to anything. So
That
you
is
know,
so untrue. Oh
it
my
is so
That's
true.
Greg.
But Lizzie, you know, I've known Lizzie longer than Greg.
Right.
And I adore her. We lived together for like 2 seconds.
She
In
took
New
me
York?
in. She
I
took
took
me in
her
when
in.
I was in Los Angeles. When I
Yeah,
broke
you-
up with my boyfriend, I couldn't live there. And she was like, come, stay with me. And then I would like roll in at 3 o'clock in the morning. And she'd be up at like 5 o'clock in the morning working out, like making coffee. And I'd be like, sorry.
That's
She
just
was
great.
like, you got to get out of here. I got like a workout at 5. And I was just like,
When Monty was a baby, I'd be like feeding him at 4 a.m, and I'd hear like all this commotion next door. I'd be like, "Are they being robbed? What's going on?" I'd be like, "Oh no, Rebecca's just awake for the day."
Hi, sweetie. I love you.
Hi.
Hey.
It's my baby.
Hi.
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 Wait, I have somebody who I bet would want to say hi.
Okay.
Hey, Monty.
oh, I wish I were home. Josephine's in school.
Oh,
That would have
I
been
know,
so
where
cute.
are you, Lizzie? I'm like,
Lizzie,
Lizzie,
where are
I'm like, what's this background you've got going on?
Look where she is. This is great.
I'm
This
making
is great.
I'm gonna make you guys a margarita.
This is the clue. Margarita.
Oh, are you at Jimmy Buffett's house?
I'm in his office.
She's in his
Oh.
office.
I lost my power at my house, so
Oh my
then I had to
God.
come here. So I had to come to Rob's office, which is
So
Jimmy
we're
Buffett's office,
we're at Jimmy Buffett's for the celebration.
I
yeah.
can't open that margarita maker though.
Rebecca, what do you think of Greg and Liz's acting?
Start with Greg first.
Start with Greg.
Okay. Okay. I love you. Sorry.
I'm going to see if you know who wants to come up and say hi if she wants to come back.
Oh, well, do you want to see? Okay. So, well, what do you mean? I've never acted. with
You haven't
Greg,
acted with Greg. I know.
and thank God. Because I'm not sure I could survive it. Just the pranks alone, I could only
mean,
imagine.
that's-
could
Now, like
only
you guys have to act together because it would be so good. It would be filled with so much
Angst.
angst.
I mean, the truth is, I think they're both amazing actors. And please don't, I'm about to barf just talking about Greg like that. But I always found Lizzie like riveting to watch on All My Children, and also on Young and the Restless. I love her character on Young and the Restless. And
Wait, it's amazing.
Greg
yeah.
is, whatever. I actually think Greg's doing really well over at Days. I think that's like, a really fun character for him.
Greg might be really difficult in person, but he's actually really easy to work with.
Here's the scoop.
As a neighbor or as a friend, it might be really hard, but as
Hard.
actually like a coworker, as an actor,
Hard's an
on
understatement. Yes. But the only thing I can say about him is that I have done auditions with him before, and he is
Yeah.
very well prepared.
He is prepared? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
But to your point about pranks, like Liz can speak to that, because I can't get through a day without, hi, you want to say hi to Shashi? You don't?
stage.
He's
Monty, is he coming? Okay.
being-
Is he
If
not?
you change your mind, come on back.
I love you. Bye. Go.
I have to go.
Go. We're
Okay.
going to the
Bye.
recycling center.
And the playground and the minuet.
Okay.
That's really fun.
You were saying, Greg, you were saying?
Oh,
Wait,
that I like to, I like to prank. And
Oh,
and you
shit.
prank Liz?
Oh, all the time. Like, remember when
my God.
when we were shooting Tracy's 40th, she was in this beautiful low cut dress and it was freezing on set. My hands were freezing. And before every single
No.
take, right when we started to roll, I would put my cold hand on. Is Charlotte still there, Rebecca? Because he's
No.
right here. Okay. Do you want to come and say hi? Do you see Becky Jo? And that's Michael and that's Lizzie.
Hi, Monty.
Hi, Monty.
Okay, you don't have to say, hey.
Wait, we're losing
You don't have to
dad.
Good thing you have your pants on. That would have been awkward.
I know, right? And so remember I kept.
That I would have
kept-
liked to see. Okay. What?
Oh, there he is. Maybe that's
Hi.
all we get.
Okay.
So yeah, and I kept putting my ice cold hand on your back right when we started to roll.
Oh yeah, we started to roll and I feel like I couldn't move. No, but actually real pranking, what he used to do when Facebook was a thing is that
yeah.
you would leave, he would grab my phone before like even like phones locked. And he would go and we had like this whole like pooping joke going on for like, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
would be like, sharded again. And then it would post, on my Facebook. And then it became like a thing and we would all do each other and hair and makeup. But I couldn't put my phone down. And if I looked down and my phone was gone, I would find Greg and he'd be over there in the corner. He'd be like,
Remember at Tessa's wedding?
oh, Tessa's wedding was good. He did the whole cast going around everyone.
Oh wait,
with
not
a
Tessa,
feather.
Taraya's wedding.
Taraya. And he was going behind everyone with a feather. And
But I also
everyone
had your
was like,
phone.
oh,
Remember?
well, so you were doing 2 rounds of pranks that day.
Oh,
See
I
what
would,
you're missing, Rebecca? Rebecca, if you were working with Greg, this is what would happen.
Try living next door to him.
I know. What? I
Yeah,
know.
one time my mother had a friend who sent us this, how do I put it politely, Rebecca, that wreath, that Christmas wreath. It was a lot. It was
And it
big,
wound up
and
on
it
my
was-
door.
And,
And
it,
how
and
about
What?
how about the time that did you do this to Lizzie's car, I wonder? With the eyelashes?
Never touched my car.
I
Where do you
bought,
put the eyelash?
I bought those, those car lashes on.
For the headlights?
For the headlights. Put it on. That's amazing.
But yeah. So I've got a lot of tricks up my sleeves.
So funny.
Rebecca, thank you so much for popping on and wishing these guys happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to the two of you.
It's really
You seem awfully young to be having an anniversary. Bye.
That's what I said. I feel like that
But
I'm
we're
really
not,
old,
and you
Rebecca.
know how old we are.
yeah.
We all just
You
look
are
really
young.
good.
You're young.
I have a ring light on. That's why I look like
You're
this.
all younger than me.
Not
Well,
me. All right.
Greg
Yeah.
likes to post photos of me as a 100-year-old.
Wait,
that was so good. Yeah.
but wait, but here's how great Rebecca looks. There's like an app where you can take a photo and you can make it look old, right?
Right.
So you take the photo of Rebecca, who's so beautiful, and strike that comment from the record. And even Rebecca as old looks stunning. So then I had to take the old photo and
Make
old
it
that
old?
photo. So I had to do it 2
Aw,
times to
look
make
at
her look
that.
old.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, you two.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beck.
How does
It's
it feel to
lovely
be
to
how
see
does
you,
it feel to
I
be
guess.
500 celebrating your anniversary?
Oh, that was a nice surprise. Good to
Yeah,
see
it
you.
was okay.
Rebecca,
It was
Have
okay.
fun.
bye.
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 Bye. So
She's
nice.
like, bye. Goodbye. Leave.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh
That's
my
Okay,
it.
God,
bye-bye.
she's still
Yeah.
here. She's
Bye.
still here.
That was cute.
Oh, that was great.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, wait, we're not done. I have a guest for you
Oh, wow.
coming.
So
on.
cute.
Yeah,
Oh, no
I
way.
I do.
Oh.
We're celebrating you guys.
Hey.
Hooray!
Cute.
Tamara Braun is here, ladies and gentlemen.
I love this. Hi.
My dogs think that somebody's at the house.
We are kind of.
Yeah. Hi, Tamara.
Should I turn this?
Yes, perfect. Yay. Thank you for being here, Tamara. To help me celebrate these two.
I can't hear it.
We can't
hear
hear.
you.
You're good.
You can't hear me?
Now I
We
can.
can't hear the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's insanity here. Fantastic. Hi, Hi,
Hi.
congratulations, you beautiful people.
Thank you.
I just think this is excellent that you guys are being honored, because I feel like I've known you guys so long, it's kind of scary. I
We
was
go
thinking,
back a long time.
I was thinking about the first time I met you, Greg. Do you remember?
Was it the soap cruise?
Nope, never went on one of those. I was like, nope, I'm gonna
I
get
remember
seasick.
those.
I'm gonna get seasick, and there's no way I'm gonna get seasick in front of a whole bunch of fans.
You would have. It would have. Remind me, and once you start, I'm sure.
It was at Howard Fine's, like a Howard Fine event. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, like a Christmas party or something.
Yes, yes. And you were so nice, and you came up to me and introduced yourself, because we had never met. We knew of each other's work, but we had never met each other. And I just think it's so awesome that all these years later we've gotten to work together. I mean, we got to know each other, but got
Yes.
to work together. And
Oh no, I did
Yeah.
something.
I was saying
Oh
that.
no.
What?
look at Twiggy.
Oh, sorry. I was like, yeah.
I was saying I feel like we're it's like being in like theater camp, and we all get to sort of like do these different characters on different shows, and we sort of travel with the same troupe, you know.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so it almost feels like it's just a matter of time before you end up crossing paths with somebody. But I'm glad that we have again and again.
I am too, and I think you're so wonderful, and I just wanted to congratulate
you.
you.
Why is he so wonderful?
Well, because look at him, he's wonderful, and he's just he comes to work, and to anytime I've seen him, work or not work, but with a smile and a good attitude and great humor, and he's a wonderful actor and giving and fun. I mean, what more could you?
You're very sweet.
It's
And you're and she's so generous to work with too. And anytime there's a prop that comes flying in her face, she's game to just roll with the punches.
take it.
Now, you knew Liz from how long ago? You knew Liz from?
Just gonna say, Miss Lizzie, like we met. I want to say the first time we met. Well, I feel like we may have met cross paths. Super Soap years when you were on.
Probably.
But when I first really got to I think meet you more was at Eden Regal, and Andrew had a little gathering, and it was after I had been on All My Children, so it was probably when was that, 2009 or something?
Oh wow, yeah. Was it like in their backyard, like at their house or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
But don't you two have the distinction of being the women of Bianca's life?
Yes, we kissed the same
Don't
week.
you have that?
Yes.
Yes. And we were
I
talking.
know. Well, it's funny that we kind of kept crossing paths, and it was hard for me to watch Eden with other women after I left. But T is just like, she's one of, if not one of my favorite actresses in daytime. I think she is just like, she's even back then I would watch her and I'd be like, oh, like, who is this girl? So I kind of always had just this like love for her from afar. And then I really got to know her at General Hospital. And then I really got to know her like as a friend and as a human being. And that just for me was like, oh my gosh, like this is like, this woman is like everything. Like, wrap her up in a bow and take her home with you, because she is just like one of the most special people I've ever met. And I mean that genuinely.
I love you. And I could say all the same things right back at you. And this is about you. So let's take all of that and back at you. I mean, Lizzie, I feel so blessed that we got to work together on GH, because I feel like we were always in each other's orbit, and there was a great admiration. And I mean, and it's just like we kept, crossing paths, and still we didn't really get to work together on GH, but I'm so grateful for it, because we got to become friends and got to know each other outside. And I just think the world of you, and I'm just congratulations. Happy.
Thank you.
And you were DA Margot Dawson, correct? On General Hospital, the DA.
Yes.
Yes. Did you ever see her as DA Margot Dawson, Greg?
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
did?
caught it once or twice. Yeah. I mean, I didn't like tune in. It was one of those things where I was somewhere, it was on, and I'm like, and I got to see her.
Yeah, we don't really like tune into each other. We'll see, like even like Greg, like I've seen things and I'm like, oh, there
Yeah.
And
If it's
then
like an Emmy
we see them
reel
for
or,
a bit.
you know,
Yeah.
that's the nice thing about the most I get to see people work is when we're working on the same show, because I can have the monitor on in my dressing room
Exactly.
and watch
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
happening before.
Or when like you're judging for the Emmys, because you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I get to actually
Yeah.
see them work.
Totally. Yeah.
Especially with people that you know and you've become friends with, you know, through a show you worked on or just through our world, and you don't really get to see their work because you're busy working.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, it's always so nice to see everybody shine. So
Yeah.
glad to be seeing you guys shine. And I know
Aw.
a whole bunch of other people popping in, but I just wanted to, I don't know.
You are the greatest. I adore you. And I think the world of you and your work and who you are as an actress and off camera, I know I don't want to gush, you did it all, but you truly are spectacular.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
feel with you. Isn't it nice to have mutual love and respect?
It's the
so
best.
great.
It's the best.
It is.
Tamara, thank you so much for coming by and wishing them happy anniversary. I love you and thank you.
Thank you for
doing
having me.
That was
You too.
sweet.
Love you guys. Mwah. Can't
Back
wait
at
to
you,
see
babe.
you guys. Bye.
I wanted to tell you guys, Liz and Greg, Eden Regal could not be here tonight. However, I have a message from Eden for both of you, and I would like to read it
Oh.
to both of you. It said, congratulations, Lizzie and Greg, for celebrating 2 decades on Daytime. I remember Lizzie's very first day on All My Children when Susan Lucci ran Frankie over with the car. Spitfire Lizzie yelled at Erica on the side of the road. I was watching the live feed from Hair and Makeup, and the word that came to me regarding Lizzie's performance was fearless. Lizzie is magic on Daytime. She's dynamic, unpredictable, open-hearted, and full of life. She pulls your eye to her and keeps you captivated. That's why when Frankie wound up dead with a visible body, All My Children just had to figure out a way to get her back, and Frankie's never before mentioned identical twin Maggie was conceived. She's that good. She's so memorable that BAM fans tell me all the time. Hold on one second. Tell me all the time that their first OG ship, Bianca and Maggie, is still their favorite. Congrats, my friend.
Oh,
Greg?
well, that made me cry, but really quickly about me dying since Greg left during the
Here,
beautiful.
my
Yeah,
dog
thanks,
knocked
Greg.
something over. I was
Okay.
right there. I heard the whole thing.
But when I was dying, they had the blood go the wrong way. So I was laying on this way, but the blood went that way. So maybe she wasn't really dead. Okay, sorry. Greg.
Greg, and for Greg, and Greg may have been on Daytime for 20 years, but he remains so damn attractive and youthful that if I ran into him at the gym today and we exchanged numbers, I still wouldn't give him a call. Greg brings a playfulness and tenderness to his TV characters that makes him everybody's instant favorite. He's impossible not to root for and adore, even when he's behaving badly, maybe especially them. He's funny and fiery. See this hilarious public roasting of Rebecca Budding and endlessly entertaining feud. Sensitive and sweet, a devoted father, husband, and friend, and brings spontaneity and passion to his performances as Kevin and Leo. Lizzie and Greg have cemented themselves as Daytime mainstays. I have a feeling they will be able to celebrate as many Daytime birthdays as they wish. Congratulations and cheers to both of them, Eden.
Oh, that was really sweet.
So lovely. I mean, really, this is really, really special, Michael. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't think of, I love you guys. I would
Love you back.
not, if I'm going to do something for you guys, I mean, come on. You know why I do these things too? Because, you know, life, we read in the news, people like not being there all of a sudden. And I never want to have regrets, you know, that we all, you know, we didn't get to do something, you know, that's kind of my thing. Hold on one sec. Okay, ready? Here we go. I have a guess for you. I think you were
Oh,
in bed with him, Greg.
Today, yes.
I haven't seen
And I was on
Peter
the
in
picket line with him
years.
today too.
I saw.
Well.
Oh, 2 times in one day.
I heard so you were picket line. You were in picket lines together. I saw
Yeah,
the
we
photo.
were.
I was like, I hope Peter doesn't spoil this and say something to Greg.
I never. It was tough. I talked about it to everyone else but him.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi. How's the rest of your day been?
Uneventful. Basically,
Oh,
just
okay.
gearing up for this. These were you
Cool.
kind of bookended. The highlights were, picketing with you, and now this. So
That sounds about right.
Peter,
What are we here for?
Can you change? Can your phone go?
Yeah.
Finally,
Oh,
there we go.
This
There
phone
we
will do so
go.
many things.
We can see
That's
you.
better.
Yes. So tell me
Okay.
what it's like hitting the sheets with Greg on Days of Our Life.
Spicy. It is hinge. You mean like, yes, the sex scenes with Greg Rikaart. Oof, where do I even begin?
I bet you he doesn't put a cold hand on your back when you go to tape.
No. He warms them up first.
What?
my two
Your
lovers.
Your two lovers are here with us.
Oh my gosh.
It's been ages since I think the last time I saw you might have been on Young and the Restless.
Yes. Now you do guys know, everybody, that
Yeah.
Peter here, who was on Young and the Restless as Ricky, who was the villainous.
So long ago.
This was like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Wow. Good to see you.
Yeah.
So we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Greg on Daytime and 15th of Liz on Y&R and 22nd on Daytime. Do you think you would want to be on Daytime for 20 years?
Yes. And it's so nice to also celebrate me for these last 6 months on Days of Our Lives, which we're really here for. Anyway, no, that's incredible. I mean, what an amazing legacy to be part of, to be a part of anything for that long and still be so young and beautiful. Wow.
Keep
Well
going.
done. Well
Yeah.
done.
When did you guys, Greg and Peter, find out that you were going to be like hooked up on Days? Did you know from the get when Peter was coming back into the mothership?
Well, I had like originally when we did the Christmas special, there was, I believe there may have been an incarnation there where there was talk of Leo and Dimitri, and then I think maybe things changed or whatever. So then when I heard he was coming back, I sort of wondered, and then but you know how things go. It's like you got to sort of parse little bits and pieces of information whenever you can get them. And then so I didn't know right when he was coming back, and then I had heard that from one person that he was coming and we were going to be, romantically involved. And then I heard from someone else that no, it's just there might be like a one-time encounter, but it's him just sort of being duplicitous and using you for something else or whatever. So I think we really never quite knew until we got
No.
the scripts.
But even then, we didn't quite know, because even when we got those first, well, I don't know how much we want to be giving away right now.
Well, let's see.
But-
You know where we are, right? On air.
We just slept
you-
together.
You slapped him, you had sex, you slept together.
Right.
And this is all
So-
come out, and now he's
But he's engaged, Liz.
He's
He's engaged. He's engaged to
I'm
Emily
engaged.
O'Brien.
right.
Oh.
Yeah. But when that first episode, that first script came to me, I reached out to our producers and said, "So is he in love with him? Does he mean all these things?" And they're like, "Well, we're not sure yet. So just play both."
Yeah, just like
And doesn't that sound about
like,
right?
we want to
That's
see
like-
how in love you guys
We
look,
would-
and then if
yeah.
it works, you guys are in love.
Yes, you're like,
If not,
yes.
you're not.
And what's funny is when we did that live stream, Peter, recently, and
Yeah.
when he just came to the mothership, and we asked the fans who are, because he said there's two. I think pretty much everybody guessed Gwen and Leo.
They did. Yeah. Well done. I
Well
tried to keep a poker face with that, y'all, but I was shocked. There was really no other option. They're like, "Oh, it's Gwen and Leo."
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So playing a gay character on Daytime, all like we were talking about, Liz back in the archaic
I'm
days.
the OG gay, guys.
She's the OG.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Paved the
Greg,
way.
but I'm
Take
the
it,
OG
girl.
gay here on the Zoom party.
You are. You are.
What do you want? What do you want to know?
Did you get a lot of
You-
flack? Did you get a lot of flack from people, or were they, or was
No, actually, I actually didn't get a lot of flack. I actually got a lot of love. I did not get a lot of flack. I mean, unless, I don't know, it's different times then too, though, like we didn't have social, we didn't have this thing. So I don't remember. I just remember getting buckets of fan mail of people that were loving everything. I wasn't getting hate mail. So, but we didn't have that access to just get comments from everyone, no matter
Right.
what you're doing. So, and yes, but I got a lot of love.
And Greg, this is like is this like an ultimate role for you, playing Leo on Days?
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's he gets to again, I think the ground was broken years and years ago. Like Liz played as we were saying, a gay character 20 years ago. So it's not super groundbreaking to have a gay character in Daytime, but that he gets to be so such a troublemaker, and he's not just like a nice guy who happens to be gay. He's messing with people. And
I mean, Greg is so funny. When I watch him, there are parts that I'm like spit take, where I'm like what? And it works. It's not gimmicky. It's not, I mean, he's really, really good at comedy, but there's a fine line, especially in soaps, but he just does it. He does it beautifully. He really, really does.
So no, it's great. And what's really fun in the story that we're doing now is having, first of all, it's like I was saying before Tamara was on, and it feels like we're in this theater troupe, and we just kind of move around and play different roles with the same group of people. That it's, me, Emily, and Peter, who work together on another show, and everyone just shows up, and we're like, the material's already good, but like, what are some bits that we could do? And we're always like, finding these little moments. And we had something that aired a few weeks ago. I think I told you this, Peter, where I'm yelling at Gwen. Peter's Dimitri's behind me, and I can't remember what the word was, but I yell at her and I say this word, and I'm like, is that even a word? And I repeat the word over and over again. And I didn't know he was doing this because he was behind me, but behind me, Peter's also like mouthing the word, like, is that a word?
I wish I remembered what the word was.
I know, me too.
Wait, but I have a question. Can I ask him a quick question?
Of course.
So, because I've heard that Days work super fast, right?
Oh, yeah.
You guys are like, do you still get to rehearse, or you guys go straight to tape, or
we rehearse, but if we're finding some moments, it's all happening when we're doing it on our own.
Yeah. So you're just running lines a lot before you go up, and then it's basically just block tape, and it's just like, yeah. Which with stuff
is
like that,
really,
but that's when it
sometimes
works,
it's
especially
great.
when like sometimes I'm always like, the rehearsal was so great, like why should we would have taped it? Like you really do find, it's almost, like you're saying, you're like live theater, you find the moments then.
Or sometimes, if you take some swings for the fences, I mean, we didn't show it to you in the rehearsal, so here it is, and now you have to take it.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
Does Greg make you lose? Like, do you break out in laughter, Peter, in scenes, or
Oh,
are you
yeah.
Does he?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there are things, it's tough, especially because, we will rehearse it and we will look for the bits, and we'll really enjoy, I'll say that I really enjoy working with you, Greg.
Likewise.
And yes, it's hard. It is so hard not to break with some, and as this storyline progresses, it gets more and more, just ridiculously, deliciously crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There are times that we're in a sitcom now. We have jumped genres. It is quippy. It is fast. I loved it. Yeah.
I mean, it's so great to see you, Peter, too, in this role. Like, you haven't played a role like this on Daytime. You only played Ricky, right?
Right.
Yeah. Welcome to the gay club.
Welcome to the gay
Yay! Woo!
Well, before I let you go, I thought I have something for you, Greg, from Emily O'Brien, who couldn't be with us tonight, but she sent me this for you.
Uh-oh.
It is a poem.
Okay.
Greg O'Gregor's The Man of the Hour, a double decade with Emmys from your acting power, color, vibrancy, humor, and finesse, all of these things plus more you possess. For 20 years in this business isn't easy. From Kevin's chipmunk head to Leo acting sleazy, Kevin would move us and pull our heartstrings as Leo entertained us and tried to pull on other things. The role you deliver with intention, loving what you do and making it your creation. We are so lucky to work with you and you should be so proud. Cheers to 20 years. Cheers to celebrating you out loud. Lots of love, Emily, and no, this was not created by Chat GPT. Please say hello and congratulate Liz for me as well. All my love, Emily.
So
So
sweet.
cute.
Oh.
There you go.
That was good.
That was really good. She made
That was very good.
Peter, thank you so much for popping in and
My
helping
pleasure.
celebrate.
And congratulations, you two.
Thank you.
Thank
This was such a
you.
lovely surprise. Love you, Pedro. Thank you.
Love you
Bye,
too.
Peter.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
I loved Emily how she made those all rhyme.
Very
Okay,
good.
you
I think
get
she's
another
in-
guess.
I think she's in England. So,
Yeah.
Oh.
Ah, here we go. We have a lovely surprise. Look who it is.
Kate,
Kate.
My
Can't
daughter and oh, you can't hear me.
Now we can.
Now
Now
we
we can.
can.
Well, I've been looking for my daughter and my son-in-law everywhere. And here you guys are.
Here we are.
We are on the Michael Fairman Channel to find your daughter.
I'm so excited, and I
So-
just want to wish you both happiest of anniversaries. And I love you both. I love you too, Michael.
Oh, thank you.
Love you back, Kate.
I
Thank
want to
you.
say, Kate, tell me what it was like when you found out that Elizabeth was going to play your daughter. Like, what happened?
I was so excited. I'm still excited to this day. I mean, it was just the best thing that ever happened. I have the best daughter. And then, of course, she had the good sense to marry this incredible guy on the show, Greg. So, and I have the best son-in-law. I'm just thrilled. I'm still thrilled. Such a
What happened? What remember, Liz, when it was revealed that you were Esther's daughter? Because we didn't know. We were like, "Who's this?" Here, I knew it was like.
I mean, when I found that I was just related to someone, I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm here to stay. That's all you need is to get a family tie. Like I had been at all my children long enough to know you want to be a part of someone's family. And I thought that Kate was just the perfect choice. And, everyone always says, she looks like she could be your mother. And everyone always says it. So it was really like the perfect casting, accidental casting, if you will. And I'm still just lucky to this day that that I get to work with Kate. She's, she's tried and true, and will have your back, and she's really the best.
Kate is the biggest champion of daytime in my mind.
Yes, she is.
There. She's there. She shows up. She's amazing in that way. For everybody.
Yes, for everybody. For everybody.
You know?
And just also, the enthusiasm is on camera and off camera.
Mhm.
It's always there. She always has a smile, and she's always eager and ready. And also, I just want to say, how powerful her work is at times as well. When the scenes when she discovers that Chloe's not dead, when we first came back to the show,
I was just thinking about that.
were just so beautiful. Such beautiful work.
That's not easy to play. Like I can't do that. Like I
think-
can't. I remember Kate that day, like really blew us all away. And it really, I remember, brought me into the scene because I struggle with things like that. And when Kate was just like so there, I was like, oh, okay, this all feels right. Like this is all making sense to me now, because sometimes it is a little out there and you just kind of need someone to kind of like snap you back into reality. And Kate did such a beautiful job with that. That both Greg and I were in that scene. We were like, oh, wow, okay, this is this is taking a turn. And yeah, she did a beautiful job.
Well, but I have to say it was because of both of you. I mean, you both were so amazing. And I remember turning to Greg. I remember certain things that I said to you and just I think about those scenes. I will never forget them. And I was honored to play them and honored to be there with all of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so beautiful. Like Kate handles everything with such care, you know, like every time she comes to work, it's like her first day again. Like it's always very special to her and she works very hard. I get to work with you tomorrow, which is so exciting.
Oh my God, I've been going, I'm just studying. Really.
That's great because the fans are like, they want more Chloe. They want more Chloe.
Yeah, so we get to work with each other tomorrow, which is great.
Yeah,
we haven't worked with each other in a while. Yeah,
they're great scenes. And
I remember the scenes back when she came onto the show and she didn't want to admit that she was the daughter of the maid, or there was that was sad. That was and was Jeannie Cooper in those scenes with you guys too, right?
I remember that first day when I saw her. I mean, when she came into the house and I had a tray of champagne and we had to do this in one take because I see her and realize it's Chloe. Well, she was Kate. She changed her name, you know.
Yeah.
She was embarrassed to be my daughter. But anyway, and so I had this tray of champagne and I knew, boy, this is better go right, because I'm gonna do that over, and to see her and drop the tray. So
I remember that scene.
Yeah.
I do too.
I do too.
I do too. And what do you guys remember about working with Jeannie Cooper?
I mean, how much time do we have left?
I feel that she's still there. I still feel her there. I feel her in the studio.
Definitely
at work, I can feel her presence. I hear her. I hear some of the things she's saying to me. You know, she called me Kathy Kate, so I can hear her say, "Kathy Kate, you be careful when you do that." You know,
I think
Greg had a really great relationship. Go ahead. You had a really special relationship.
I think,
with her.
she was flirtatious and silly but also nurturing and caring and everything in between. But I think what stays with me the most was Jeannie saying, like, it doesn't matter how serious the work is, like, take the work seriously, but don't forget to have fun. And I think that's why, like, and I like to have a good time and I like to goof around, but even like doing something where if I'm playing like a practical joke, it's to like bring out like some like cuteness or sweetness that already exists between us off camera, and then like let some of that play on camera. And I feel like that was always her MO. She wasn't just being playing around just for fun. It was always to like, service the work in some way. And it's also makes the job more fun because you get to laugh a lot. And that's what I.
And she really looked out for what we were then, the youngins. We're not the youngins anymore, but she was really, she really cared about the future of the show. And, they still have the plaque on, they have a plaque on her door that this door was always open, because it was, and you could go to her for anything. And to have like the matriarch of the show just always have this open revolving door, just knowing that if it was your first day, like, she wanted you in there. She wanted to meet you. She wanted to know where you were from. She wanted to know who your scenes were with. She wanted to know how long you were acting. She wanted to know who your boyfriend was. She wanted to know what you did last night. She wanted to know, your SAG dude. Like, she would be like, where are the SAG? Like, when we used to have people who would actually show up for AFTRA. She was very, like, she was the thread of our show. And she was, she just always was making sure that everyone was where they should be.
I was going to say, Kate, why do you think Kevin and Chloe work so well on camera? Why this relationship that these two actors have done has worked so well?
Well, I mean, because they care as well, and they care about what they're doing, and they care about each other, and they're always prepared. And the chemistry is there, and chemistry, it's like, chemistries, it doesn't always have to be male, female, or two females or two males. It's like Jeannie and I had chemistry as well. And I'm very fortunate. I feel like I have chemistry with both of them. And they definitely have chemistry with each other. There's no doubt about it. They're so good.
Yeah, well, we lobbied, for years because I think we knew there was some chemistry there off camera. And whenever we had a party, we would always, corner Maria Bell and be like, when can we work together?
This is us. We'd always be like, because we just had so much fun with each other. And I've always said in any of my interviews that, and I'll say it here again, is that like, I don't work when I'm with Greg, it's just not work. I cannot see him, even if he came back to work tomorrow, it would be like we had just worked last week. And we always pick up where we left off, and I love him dearly. And even when he does drive you crazy and plays the pranks, again, like it's all in good fun. And it really does make our scenes better. Like it really does, because it spices things up.
I mean, everybody loves Kevin and Chloe together. They really do. I mean, when you get to see them, there's just something about it, and good on both of you that you played that so they would write it for you, or cornered Maria Bell or whatever, to finally get it to happen, because it is a unique relationship on soaps, or one of the all-time unique ones that isn't like the cookie cutter romance of people. Yeah. It's a more mushed up romance. Like it's good. It's like,
well, I think we're also not those characters, right? We're not like, so it has to be a little different based on what she and I bring to the table. And I can't wait till we get to do it some more.
I know.
Yeah.
I never wanted to play like the sexy on, like even like I think like the last time we had sex scenes was when I was pregnant. Remember, I was like, cover me up.
Oh yeah.
And even like then, like we were supposed to be like loud or something like in the room, and we were just like, we're like silly with it. We're like, we're just not gonna be the two who are just like, it's just it's not our thing.
Kate, thank you so much for taking some time to be here with us tonight.
Bye,
Great to see you.
I love all of you.
Love you.
See you
Bye.
later.
Mañana.
Bye.
Well, that's good that you're going to do some scenes with her.
Yeah.
I know. It was so great to see, because we both haven't worked with each other in a long time. So we're both.
Hey, here's my next guest. Here
this is my favorite. This is like so fun.
Hey, bada bing.
Bada bing, of course.
Coming to you live from New Jersey.
How's it going?
How are you, Zach?
Hello, Zach. I love you.
Y'all look beautiful.
Where are you, bada bing, in the middle? What is this?
I'm in my disheveled apartment, so I just threw on
a little thing,
a little green screen,
a little thing. Well, Zach has the distinction of playing your uncle and your
lover,
which is only right. So
the only way I want it to be. That's the way it should be.
I love soap operas.
It's like, well, we have to have Zach because he played his uncle and his love.
Yeah.
Well, we had very few scenes together at Y&R, but when we first started working together at Days, our second day of work together was that shower scene, the threesome shower scene with me, him, and Chandler. And I remember like saying to him, I was like, hey, I'm going to ask you to call me Uncle Kevin during these scenes.
Yeah, it was an interesting welcome. Also, you're looking very Clark Kent today.
Thank you.
Yes, he is.
Clark Kent.
That's great.
That's what I was going for. Not really, but I wanted to see
Kent. So what do you remember, Zach? So you met Greg first at where?
The first time I ever really met you, Greg, I remember saying hi to you outside of the Emmys.
I remember that.
We really interacted and like had a moment together. Was at the Emmys. I think I was leaving.
Yeah, I remember that too. And then there was like, and then I feel like there was one. I feel like there was one episode where you kind of came in, where we were celebrating, like a special episode for Christian or Tracy.
Right.
And we still didn't know each other well. It was just like some family scenes. We kind of said hi. Liz, you were there, and yeah.
Liz, you were there.
Oh, she's not here. She was there.
She's on mute.
I see someone outside on the corner.
I don't hear you.
I'm sorry. My husband has to leave and he was telling me he had to get out of his office. Could you hear me?
No, but we were
Oh,
talking about you and you were just
talking
like
about
doing
Liz.
everything.
Could have hit the red what?
There's a red button to open the door.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, it's one of those
Remember to hit
offices.
that button.
Yeah, she's in a special ribbon.
So what happened? I missed it. Sorry.
So
We
when
were
you,
just-
when did you meet Zach?
Oh no, I don't remember.
Just scenes.
Scenes, like family scenes with Ben.
Yeah, just with
family?
Christian, and we really haven't gotten the chance to like, besides out of work, we haven't really like had an opportunity to really,
Yeah. We haven't been able to chat much.
I had a little short tenure at Y&R, and most of my time has been days of our lives.
Right. So you
Yeah,
go
and
to
I feel like just the only time that they really had us in scenes really was recent when we had Tracy's anniversary,
Yeah.
where I really got to see him in all of his glory. Bada bing. See,
Yeah.
So
I
Zach, how do you think Greg and Liz are good actors or what?
phenomenal. I think, as soap people are a different breed. We really gotta, having gone kind of left, none of us are working right now, but having, kind of working in other spheres again, you forget just like how much dialogue and how little takes and how like you get so much privilege in other, you don't get that afforded to you in soaps, and you just got to be on your A game. all the
It's
time.
like theater.
So like every soap actor is good. Every soap actor can get in a room and be like, yep, here's okay, let's go. So yes, by default, yes.
So then we have you both over at Days of Our Lives and the antics of Leo with literally ruining Sunny's life. I mean, the history of Sunny.
Right.
And what what was that like for you, Zach? Is for you?
Greg is so effortlessly charming and his character is so funny that I think he's the only person who really could do the role, because at times it's such a mean character, like a messed up character. He's done some really horrible things, but Greg's, the way he carries himself just by nature, I think, being who he is, but also, his delivery and the fun he has with Leo, I think he just brings an essence to that character that no one else could. He just can play that guy and play him well.
And didn't Sunny start to kind of, after everything he did, started to fall for him a little bit, and they kind of,
I don't even know if it's fall for him, but I think it's seeing the good in him and the he's trying, and maybe he's naturally this way, but he's fighting his instinct to be better. Yeah. I mean, it was really, I forgot what episode it was, but there's I think it was one of the Christmas ones where he apologizes to me. He's done something, but it wasn't really his intention to do it. I forgot exactly what the circumstances were, but it wasn't really his fault. But he had done something. I think he participated in a kidnapping.
Oh, the thing where with Bonnie, with your aunt Bonnie,
and you got kind of roped into it. So, but Greg did he got so teary eyed and he genuinely, you could tell he felt bad, or as Leo. I love working with Greg. I don't know what else to say. He's fun. He makes every scene fun. He has fun with Leo.
Well, and Zachy too. Zachy is like, again, anytime you have a co-star who's like, hey, can we just like run these scenes and run them again and again and again because again, we don't have 3, 4, 5 takes to really find like the nuance that you may find in a third take. So we do that. We all do it on our own to be like, oh, if you're going to do that, I can try this. And
I was going to say, would you want to see like all of the clothes. I just want to say Greg's clothes on days. He gets to wear some.
Oh, he gets dressed best. But I told him that many a time.
Right?
I say you get the best outfits.
That's funny. That's what everyone says to me at Y&R.
Well, Lizzie, and let me ask you this, Liz, do you feel like, because I guess what I'm getting at is like, when I put on some of those clothes, because like Leo's so outrageous in a way that I am not, I'm like, oh, the clothes kind of make the man a little bit. And so I can sort of like step into his shoes. Is it? Yeah, right?
If I put anything on that is not Chloe, I immediately text them, or I just feel uncomfortable about it, and I'll think about it all the whole time. I'm like, oh, but why did I wear that? That was so not. But I'm also very clear in my fittings, so I don't really have to deal with that. It's only when something pops up. But I'll put something on right away, and I'll go, it's not Chloe, not her, because that's so much for me. Is putting on that, and shoes are a really big thing for me too.
Well, and I must imagine after a certain amount of years, you just know them like the back of your hand.
Yeah, I mean, they're like an extension of yourself, you know? So, yeah, but there's like, Chloe wears short, they have to be short. Like she cannot wear anything below the knee unless it's a long gown. Like they all like, even Kay would know, she wouldn't even have to fit things. She would know exactly where it needs to be cut because everything was, you know.
Well, Chloe was a fashionista, and obviously Leo is too.
Yeah, see?
maybe I've like stolen a little bit of like Chloe, and that's what I'm playing a little bit.
Zach, thank you so much for popping on and helping us celebrate these two today.
Love you, Zach.
And I love you guys. I love you, Greg.
I
hope to see you guys. I'll see you on the picket lines.
Yeah.
Adios, guys.
Bye, Zach. All right. Okay, here we go. Got one more. Here you go.
We have one more? Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, wow.
Hi.
Judith.
Chapman is here. Can you hear us, Judith?
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I haven't been on camera in so long. I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. You look great.
Don't be nervous. You look great.
Thank you. Hello, Angel. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Michael.
Hello. Thank you for being here to help us celebrate Greg and Liz's anniversaries.
Well, I can't believe y'all have gotten so old that you could have been on that show for so long.
Right?
Well, I just got home, so I'm kind of racing. And there's babies. Hi, baby.
Oh, hi.
That's sweet baby James. Anyway, I just saw Mission Impossible. It's exhausting. Now, I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I'm still going a million miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so how exciting for you. How exciting.
Yeah, so tell me about working with Greg, Judith.
Where do I begin?
Well, doesn't he play one of your sons?
I think so. I think he's the illegitimate one.
The illegitimate one?
Wait,
I think we're both illegitimate.
Yes, everybody's illegitimate. Terrible Tom.
Everybody's illegitimate on soap operas.
Terrible Tom.
You know, where do you begin? I remember when I first saw him, and I was on the third floor. I don't know if you remember, Greg, and I think I was coming out of the casting office, and you were going in, and we almost bumped into each other, and I saw those big, beautiful eyes, and I went, I think I'm playing your mother, because I thought we looked alike.
Yeah, I remember.
And, yeah.
And then what about Liz? What about Liz when you met
Liz? Liz. She was I just wanted to punch her in the nose sometime. I was just jealous. You were going after my boy, my angel. No, Liz was fun. We got to go do a lot of fun things, breaking into, was it your apartment, Liz? And looking for things. God, that was a long time ago. So it was fun. And then when they finally started having babies, and no, they've been great. But one of my favorite stories I must share with you about Greg, I don't know if he'll remember, but we were having coffee, or we're in the coffee house, and it was during a rehearsal, and I had this big, huge bauble hanging around my neck on this chain, this gorgeous big gemstone, and Greg is just staring, or Kevin is just staring at it. And during the rehearsal, I said, Angel, you haven't looked at me like that since you were 2 and were really hungry. And they let us keep it, which I thought was very cool.
Yeah,
So we got to do, so the point is we got to do a lot of improv and, you know, within the confines of rehearsal, but it was just very special, very special. I've had a lot of co-stars, workers, fellow actors in my life, but this kid takes the cake. He really does. He really does. And Liz, I think it's wonderful that y'all have survived. You're still married. Do you have any?
No, I was so lucky when I became part of the Fisher Baldwin family. It was like, wow, I feel like I've always belonged here. Like, these are my people. It was really the family that I should have been with from the get-go. They're quirky, they're mischievous, they're funny, they're awful. They're just, you know, it's the most fun thing to play, especially in daytime. Yeah. So I'm really fortunate that I've been able to work with all of them.
Well, and let's give Judith the credit too, where it's sort of like, it starts with the matriarch of the family, right? I mean, we all sprung from you, and I think that your you know, your energy and your talent and what you do on camera is just so special, and how we all just, I think, shift to be like, how do we fit into this puzzle around this energy, which is so powerful and good. And I was talking to Michael Maloney last week, and the story that I shared about Judith was that we were doing a scene together once in the coffee house, and the scene started and you had the first line and you delivered it, and then they said, cut. They said, I think for cameras, it was a little stagnant. And they said, Judith, will you, instead of being facing him at the top of the scene, will you just turn around as if you were just getting your coffee? Just like, I got it. So she started, she's like, and what this woman is capable of doing in a turn, like there was no dialogue or anything. She just turned, and like, she, you know, she turned away and she was Judith. She turned back and she was Gloria. And she's just tremendous and wonderful, and getting to play opposite you is a joy. I'm certain that I speak for both of us.
Yeah, like anytime I'm ever in a scene with Judith, I'm not in it with her, I'm watching her. No, I'm always just like, it is exactly how Greg described, because sometimes you just want to watch, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, no, I'm here, I'm in a scene with her. And
it's my turn, I've got to speak.
Yeah, and she just really, she like turns it up, and you've got to go there with her, and it just makes it for such, like, it just makes it that much more exciting, that much more fun to play. And then you remember, you're just like, oh right, like, this is what it's all about, you know.
This is all about you. Y'all are gonna make me cry. You're making me cry. This is wonderful. A lot of flashbacks here happening right now.
One of our guys in the chat room, Kevin, asked, can any of you share memories of working with Roscoe Bourne? Do you have?
Go ahead, Judith.
Played
Roscoe, rest in peace, Roscoe, Kevin's father. I had met him before, but I really didn't know him. And, you know, I'm pretty comfortable on set, you know, bring it on, whatever. But he had this thing that he did, and he was supposed to be very intimidating and, you know, traumatizing everybody, Kevin and Gloria. But he would, right before they said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, he would lean in. And the first time he did it was like, whoa, what's going on here? What's going on? And I realized it was just his way of saying, I'm coming at you. Better watch out. Yeah. And I told him that, and I said, you freaked me out, Roscoe. You freaked me out. But it was so cool. And every time we did a scene, it was just like this. I'm coming after you, woman. I'm coming after you. So Roscoe he put his heart and soul into it, and it made it very easy to be terrified of him. But then it was also a lot of fun to flush him down the garbage disposal.
Yeah. Greg, what
cremated him and dumped him in the garbage disposal. But I loved working with Roscoe. Yeah.
My story is similar, that he would, you know, right before the take would just sometimes just give me a look or something that was scary and intimidating, and you know, somewhat off-putting, but then
Yeah.
the take would be over and he was charming and lovely and just a really great guy who, you know, again, the more we got to do the work, the more you realize, like, oh yeah, he's doing that as part of his
preparation,
yeah,
his preparation and getting ready. And I found that very interesting. Instead of, you know, some of us, some actors, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, okay. No, he was preparing before 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I have a lot of respect for that kind of actor.
Yeah.
As is Greg. He was always, well, it used to be it's just if people were being noisy on set, I'd say, Mommy needs her 5 seconds of Zen because I want to be, you know, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth would be doing her thing.
Put the
Christian is
damn
basically,
phone
Christian's on
away.
a unicycle
Christian
juggling.
is like over there doing his tap dance.
I don't even know how you guys even get the scene done.
No, that's
do.
why I said in an interview, I was like, you better
Right?
add on an extra hour because between the 4 or 5 of us, someone is doing a shtick within a shtick, and the shtick is happening over here, and the shtick is happening over there, and then you're yelling at it, I got my third scene over here, we're over here. And Christian's tap dancing and playing with the makeup. I mean, it's a
shtick.
show.
I would love for someone to say, oh, we have like, we've recorded like, you know, Fisher Baldwin scene pre-tapes, like before we started rolling. Like that's what I would want to see.
Yeah.
Because again,
And
there's
then all of a
just so
sudden,
many
the
things.
epic scene starts, and then we're all like,
Well, I remember when I first started on the show, the other son was, you know, a bit chatty all the way up to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at
Christian
one
can
point,
do
and I'm
that.
like, come on, I need to prepare a little bit, just a couple of seconds, no big deal. And finally he did it, and I just looked straight into the camera and I said, is he always like this?
Yes.
God bless Christian. Everybody was like, yeah, he's always like.
Liz, do you have
No,
a favorite scene with everybody of the Fisher Baldwin? Do you have one that sticks out?
I didn't hear a favorite what?
Scene with the Fisher Baldwin class? Is there one that sticks out? Since you're the married in person to the family.
It's a really good question.
Is it the holiday? Was there some dramatic thing or a holiday or?
You know, it's so problem. Ever since I had my baby, I just forget everything.
There are just so many of them, and it
There's
really
so
is
many of
hard
them.
to
Like I was gonna say, I
remember.
remember something like really, if I think it was like during the pandemic, and maybe it was Christian's, Christian's anniversary that we were all at that table in society, and he did something, and he like came up behind me and he scared me so badly. But of course, it didn't land on tape, but it was one of those things where we were all together. Something happened. We started laughing so hard that we could barely get the scene started. You know, it's like that's what just stands out to me because we're just always having so much fun. I mean, they all honestly kind of blend in together because whether it's an anniversary show or just like, you know, I don't know, our baby shower, or just like whenever the family comes together, it's just always such great fun. So that's a really hard one.
On a more serious note, and I'm not sure if Elizabeth, if you were in some, but some of those early scenes, because believe it or not, in the early days, Gloria was actually very serious and did a lot of serious stuff. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden she was written to the funny side and the chaotic side. But some of that stuff, those early days when I was still with John and Greg had to come in and I wasn't acknowledging that they were my sons, that I was hiding it from them. Really powerful stuff. And I, you know, and it was just so touching. But one time, Elizabeth, when y'all were escaping, and Greg was doing this thing, and he was, again, is what he does. He put his little heart and soul into it. When he's saying goodbye to his daughter, or the daughter, and y'all are leaving, and you're leaving the state. And we were doing a rehearsal, and I just looked at Greg and I said, save it. Do not waste it on a rehearsal. And I don't know if he remembers that.
Well, I do. I had just gotten fired, so I had plenty of it.
Oh, really? You just got no?
Yeah, I mean that was like, well, no, but it was those were our last scenes together, and so
that's right.
And I had the same experience with Christian, where it kind of like snuck up on me, where I was like, oh, like I really was emotional saying goodbye to you. And then same thing with Christian. I was like, oh, this is, you know, your family, and I'm leaving, and it's hard, and it was real.
People don't understand. People who are not, oh, and you know, God made the writers and actors all get this sorted out soon. And so once again, soap operas are going to be helping to pay the bills in Hollywood, you know, which is what we've always done. But people who aren't on soaps do not realize how intense and how the bond that is created. But this day in and day out, you know, and I did a little documentary film about soaps years ago, but one of the actors said, not even your best friend visits you 5 days a week at the same time. And I went, that's it, cut, that's a wrap, we got the thing. But that's what it is, you know, and it does get easier that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you can just click into character, because we've been doing it for so long, and you two growing up on this show, and I hadn't done a soap, and God, I don't know, you know, 15 years or so, because I kind of dropped out and went off and did my own other things. But I don't know what I'm saying. It's just, it's very special. And when it's time to say goodbye, or it's hard. It's hard. You miss it.
Judith, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
This was such a lovely surprise.
You didn't know I was coming?
No.
Well, thank you, Michael, for inviting me. And,
of course.
And Greg, I just in closing, I know that when you were in college, I think it was, you told me this years ago, that you had done some internship in Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Because you are so smart, because you are so savvy, when you decide to run for president of SAG-AFTRA, you've got my vote, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of President Drescher right now.
She's killing it. She is killing it. God bless. I love you all. Stay safe. Stay
Love you
cool.
back.
And Michael, thank you for thinking of me. And
of course. So thank you for coming and helping me celebrate these two.
All right, babies. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. I have one last message for you. Billy Flynn is traveling, but he said, it's no surprise to me that Greg has been working consistently and stealing hearts for 20 years. Not only is he super talented, he's funny, kind, compassionate, prepared, present, giving, and fun. It's unfortunate that he's so hideous to look at, but other than being very, very ugly, he has no flaws, wink face, lots of laughs. I love working with him and grateful to call him a good friend. Congrats on 20 years, my friend, Billy Flynn. I know you.
Oh, you're still there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be quiet. I'm just listening.
Oh, you're the greatest, Judith.
I was like, who's Jay? Who's next? I thought someone else was popping up, and then I just heard Judith.
So their fans are, I just have a couple things for you. Amelia Aaron is asking, Liz, you were fantastic with the Delia storyline. Can we just talk about that amazing performance, the gut-wrenching that it was episode after episode, and it was such a long arc. Was that one of your all-time favorites?
Definitely one of my favorites. And I didn't realize it. I didn't remember until recently when I was kind of revisiting all of these memories when I did my interview for my anniversary, that about a month prior to starting that storyline, I actually went to Josh Griffith, and asked him if I could take off a couple months to go to New York and take an acting class. And him just saying no. And I really thought he was going to say, yeah, go. I was just like, this 6-week intensive, I really want to take it. And he was like, yeah, no, sorry, you can't. But it wasn't, no, sorry, you can't. You have this really big storyline coming. It was, no, I'm sorry, you can't. And I was really kind of thrown and devastated. And it was really something that I wanted to go do. And then I remember that storyline starting and thinking, this will beat any intensive class I could ever possibly take. what I had to stretch and do as an actor. I have never done anything like that before, and still to this day have never, I still like, that's still the hardest thing I've ever had to play. So yeah, it's pretty wild to look back, you know, when you kind of think, when you're in those moments of being like, you know, everything's always kind of meant to be, you know, and then you see it and you look back on it, and then you think how lucky I was to have been handed that storyline.
Yeah.
And
I remember, do you remember, Liz? I remember Jill being on set in like a very maternal way during all of that. And just Josh and Jill like handling that story with like such delicacy and such care. And yeah, I remember like being, you know, afraid of those scenes because they were so special. Like I didn't want to mess them up at all.
Yeah, it was a hard day to be on set, you know, and like you said, like there was this, just like you would step on, you just knew everyone was just waiting, and everyone, it was as quiet. I mean, our set is not quiet. We are a fun, loud bunch, and you would walk on and it was as dark as it could be, and it was as quiet as it could be. And yeah, I remember, I don't remember a lot of scenes. Like when we were visiting, I'm like, oh, I wish I remember that. I remember that day so well. I remember the night before. I remember that day I actually like was in my dressing room and I was listening to music because I really had to get I don't normally have to do this. I can usually really step in, but this was something that this was how long ago? Was it 7 years ago, 8 years ago? No, longer than that.
Longer than that. Probably
right?
like
Yeah,
10.
longer than that. And I hadn't lost anyone in my life since I was a young child, and the only thing I had at that time was an animal. So I had like serious work to do. So I was listening to all this music, and I was in Michelle Stafford's dressing room, which has stairs that wind down. And I had these high heels on. I went down and I flew down the stairs, and I hit the last couple stairs, and I hit it so hard, and I was filled with all of this stuff that I was like ready to bring to set, and I lost it all on the fall. And they were about to call the ambulance because I was crying so hard. And I was like, no, I'm fine. It's just that I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. I was like, this is it. Go. And it was like such a big day for me.
Kevin, this other Kevin, is saying that Greg was so phenomenal in the eulogy, Chloe's eulogy.
Oh.
Remember there was that, but that wasn't really, she wasn't really dead.
Yeah.
We struggled with all of that, didn't we, Greg?
Well, it was.
Well, I don't remember I was already gone. I don't remember. I didn't see your eulogy.
But you know, I think what was that was like, I think I don't want to say it was easy to play, but I remember being like, oh, sometimes the words kind of help guide you to where you need to go. And I think at that point, our relationship, you know, Kevin and Chloe's was so well defined, and I remember liking the eulogy, and then just, you know, then it ends and your casket opens up and I faint.
Right. Well, Liz, I know you got to get going, so I just want to.
He says I'm actually okay. Matt was like, I know you have to go. I'm like, no, my husband's home. He's here.
Okay, so you're okay. Okay, okay, good. Yes, I remember, and all of a sudden, she wasn't dead. Yeah.
But I was proud of. Thank you, Kevin. I was proud of the work in the eulogy. I think I submitted that as my Emmy tape that reel, and I got nominated.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I did not submit the
painting.
Let's talk about that, because I want to talk about that, because we can't. You've both been nominated for Emmys. Greg, you won in 2005. I believe it was supporting actor. I remember being there, and I was so glad you won that, because that was such an amazing performance. That, do you remember? Can you tell everybody what was on that reel, or what you remember about being on there?
Yeah, well, I feel like I haven't given Christian his proper due in this interview yet, and I want everyone to know that, you know, what was supposed to be a couple of week long job I had the very good fortune and good luck of being sat next to Christian on a dais at our first fan event weeks after I had just started airing. So I was brand new to the show, and we get sat next to each other on stage. And Jack Smith, who was writing the show at the time, was there at the fan event. And legend has it that it was either Jack or Asia, his daughter, or Norma, his wife. One of them commented on the fact that Christian and I favored one another. And that sort of changed the trajectory, right? Where suddenly there was this seed of like, oh, well, what if we don't get rid of Kevin, this bad guy, and link him up with this other bad guy? And I was not wise enough to know what a gift, like I said, I had only been there for a matter of weeks to know what a gift it was when you are given a family member. Christian, who had been there a while, did understand that that was quite a gift we were both being given. And he was so insistent, especially in those early days, that we put in the time and put in the work, and we'd go out to dinner, multiple nights a week and just go over the scenes and really sort of like get to the brass tacks of what this relationship was like for these guys. And I owe so much of my longevity on that show to him, because he knew what we were being given way more than I did. So, but back to your question, those scenes were that Kevin, who had fallen for Lauren, realizes that she was just using him to try and get him to fess up to something illegal that he had done. I think either burning down Gina's or something. Bad. So my first scenes were with Tracy, and then the second set of scenes were Kevin is going to kill himself, and he's got a gun, and it's Lauren and Michael in the apartment, and then Michael gets Lauren out, and it's these scenes between Kevin and Michael where he just, Kevin's basically saying he has nothing to live for, and Michael has the opportunity to, apologize for not being the brother that he should have been. And it was really like, again, another one of those days, like Liz was saying, where it was real quiet, and we really put in the work. And if I'm not mistaken, I think those are the scenes that Christian submitted also. And we both took home trophies that year.
Amazing. And Liz, you've been nominated several times.
Yeah, I think it's like at least 4. I think it's 4, maybe 5.
Wow.
I'm almost Lucci, guys. I'm almost Lucci. No, she had
5 times. 5 times. 5 times.
5 times.
Y&R and Imaginary Bitches, right? Did you get
nominated? Yeah, I guess Imaginary Bitches counts as, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was in Imaginary Bitches.
I was there. I was too.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
That was really fun. That was Eden's thing, right?
Yeah, that actually was born. That was born out of the last writer's strike.
So might have Imaginary Bitches
Part 2.
That's, I started Young and the Restless during the writer's strike in 2008.
Wow.
That was when I started.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So do you guys, the two of you, do you have favorite scenes between the two of you?
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Greg?
My absolute favorite scene between the two of us is when we first get together, where I just love how the episode was written too, where I'm on a bad date with Spray Tan Girl, and you're at home in bed eating ice cream and, complaining about me to your mom, and I'm complaining about you to Spray Tan Girl. And the whole time she's like, well, do you love her or do you hate her? Because it sounds like you love her. And I'm like, oh. And I don't think I had realized that. And then I'm like, well, this is a bust. I'm sorry for being the worst date ever. I'm going to leave. And she had been at home in her PJs. And then I walk out of the dive bar, and there she is in her big bunny slippers and PJs. Yes. That is hands down my favorite scene. But there's so many, silver medal scenes, that after that, where we've just, we had such a fun lead up to those scenes. A lot of, when we were all the Andy and Ducky stuff, and trying to think what else. All the group stuff that we get to do together. She's always like the family's the family, but it's funny, we do sort of pair off, right? Like Christian and Tracy do their thing, and you and I do our thing.
Yeah.
So, Liz, do you have one? Was it the same?
I'm so sorry, but mine's the same. And it's funny because they, I think with Greg's anniversary, they had just put up a little thing on
Oh, yeah.
Instagram and they showed a little part of that. And every time like, we're just so cute, like, it's just like, and it's just like the perfect rom-com. I always say it's just like the perfect rom-com. And we should have been in a rom-com together because their love story was just so great. And I remember I was actually going through something very similar in life at the time. And I had like a best friend who I really kind of started to have like a thing for. And it was weird that it was all happening at the same time. And it was really fun to play that with Greg because we had been kind of hoping that this was what was going to happen for the two of us on the show, and then it finally happened, and they just did it so beautifully, and it was
and there was like a long lead up. There was such a long
lead up
that it was like I think it also felt satisfying in that way that like we really did the work to get these guys from A to B.
Totally. And I love that they really got it right in that, like, I think that's like me and Greg's like sweet spot, and they really just wrote it perfectly for us that we really got to shine in those scenes together. So every time I see it, it's still like, it gives me like little chills because I was like, they were so good. And I actually submitted, I loved them so much. And I knew that they would never get nominated because it's just not that kind of scene that people choose. But I chose it for my Emmy reel one year because I was just that proud of it. And I was like, you know what? I'm submitting something different this year because it doesn't always have to be the crying, screaming. And I was really hoping that someone would just see it as just like this really beautiful, love story between two best friends.
Yeah. I think I've often, I agree with all that. I think I feel like the same way about those scenes. And I often use that approach too with like Emmy tapes where I'm like, you know what, they're gonna get a lot of this type of stuff, but I'm gonna show them this.
Mm-hmm.
And it never works.
It never works.
But in your amazing career, Greg, your 20 years, was the chipmunk head Stockholm syndrome the weirdest, worst, or did you like it?
I did not like it at the time. I remember Maria saying to me that it was kind of like her homage to Passions, which was going off the air at the time. And I was like, but it's going off the air. Why are we trying to do what they do? But she, I remember her saying, oh, it's really out there, but if anyone could do it, it's you. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then, and I had to say, like, in hindsight, now I have like a soft spot for it because I don't know. I truly feel like everything that happened, I always say, like, I used to think I had gratitude about like my job at that show and my longevity at that show. And then it went away for a minute. And then when it came back, then I realized like, oh no, this is what gratitude feels like, because it's like being given a second chance. And so I think everything, like the good, bad, and like I have, I appreciate it all. Like good stories, the bad, everything is sort of, holds a special place.
Agreed.
Sherry is asking Elizabeth, love that Chloe got the line in the Taraya wedding episode about same-sex marriage not being legal. I love the scene that Chloe, Greg, and Tessa had with the wedding dress. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that Josh gave me that moment because I was the, one of, if not the first. And I was surprised that Chloe was actually invited to the wedding because it makes more sense, I guess, for Greg's character, for Kevin to be there. But, sometimes they don't always put people together, but I hadn't had scenes with them as a couple at all. So when then knew that I was at the wedding, I was like, oh, interesting. And then when I got the line, I was like, oh, this is why. So I was so happy when I saw that because I'm glad that someone remembered.
Right. I mean, I mean, that is part of this history of yours.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
So now people are all asking about, I mean, these are repetitive, but they're asking both what it's like to play LGBTQ character. What is that like? Is it any different for you? You're just playing a character, right? So.
You want me to take this first, Liz?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry, I thought he was directing it towards you.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, I think for both of us.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just, to me, yeah, I don't know.
And they're saying, does it feel as though Days is a little more accepting? Greg, you may not want to answer this, but I had to ask, does it feel though Days is a little more accepting of the LGBTQ community?
I don't know if more accepting, I wouldn't say that. I think that Days, maybe in part because we don't have to answer to network standards and practices, takes swings that that maybe Y&R does not. It could also have to do with the audience and what the audience wants to see. But I don't know if I would say they're more accepting, but we take bigger swings, right? Like we, you know, we had a 3-way shower scene with me, Chandler, and Zach. There's some stuff coming up with Emily and Peter that is pretty raunchy, and I don't know that we would see that on Y&R. And then the language, you know, Emily called me a twat today.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome.
I mean, but it's stuff like that where it's like,
That's what needs to happen, you know, like that's what needs to happen. I'm so glad that they are taking those risks. And this isn't anything against Y&R. You know, listen, even though it was 20 years ago, you know, I think that me being a part of that story, I definitely felt a bit of a responsibility to just, I mean, it wasn't a world that I was necessarily like a part of. So I felt like, I was like, am I going to be accepted? Am I not going to be accepted? Am I going to? And I don't think it was about that. I don't think that it's not about like, you know, it's not like hazing or anything. Like you have to do these things to like make it into the club. Like people just want their story to be told and they want to be seen. Yeah. They just want to be seen. And whenever we're handed whatever we get on the page, we always want that to come through. So I think as actors, it's just, yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm as you were saying, like, does it matter if I'm playing a gay character or not? To some effect, maybe yes, but it's really like, I just want people to feel seen in the story. And I just hope that I can, you know, reach across and let someone know that like, we have you, we got you, we see you.
Yeah, before Kevin and Chloe became a couple, I think it was after we were a couple, but maybe when you had left, Liz, I sort of was a little Kevin was a little aimless for a while. And I was like, you know, and there wasn't a gay character on the show at the time. And I remember lobbying Jill and saying, hey, like, what if, you know, it wouldn't be, Kevin's been unlucky in love and hasn't had like a lot of success with women. Like, what if he took that journey? And you know, I remember saying like, I feel like it would be great for the audience to take the journey along with us rather than bringing on a character who.
Right.
So, now, while they didn't do it for me, I'm thrilled that they did it the way they did it with Mariah, where again, it wasn't like we're going to bring on a gay character. It's we're going to take someone who's here and we're going to take the journey. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, also, I think, and what is satisfying about playing a character that does have impact with whether it's a gay character who impacts gay people or, you know, I know Missy's depression storyline was really effective last year. Whenever you're doing something that is more than just about entertaining people, I think it feels like, you know, that much more satisfying than just doing some good work. It's like doing some work that also might help somebody.
Yeah.
So would you let your children become actors?
Monty can do whatever he wants when he's a grown-up, but I enjoy letting him be a kid.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think being on like TV sets is.
Sorry, guys, but Jimmy Buffett's office is closing. I gotta go.
Gotta go. Okay. Well, let me just say this. I just want to say, first of all, to Liz, I just want to say, I can't believe it's been 15 years of Y&R and 22 years. I remember the very first day I saw you as Frankie and all my children and watched all of it. And I thought, like I said, who is this firecracker? I just thought you were so real and raw and fun, and you deliver it over and over and over again with just beautiful performances over the years. You should be very, very proud
Thank
of
you,
the
Michael.
work. It's
Thank
just been
you.
great to watch.
Thank you so much. And I mean, I feel a little rushed because they're going to close on me, but I love both of you. I love
you.
the fans. I hope
So
a lot of
grateful
people watch
to
this.
you that
It was great. I love you so much, Greg. I miss you.
I miss you.
And you're a huge part of what I'm celebrating. And I'm so, so, so damn lucky that it's been you.
You too.
Along with me through most of it. And really for anyone who's watching, like, we really owe this to the fans. And I really am only here because they have asked for me to come back and back and back and back and back. So I appreciate that. But I'm signing off and I love you.
I know. Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
See you soon, I hope.
Bye.
Yes. How do I turn this off? Leave meeting.
There.
And then there are two.
And there were two. And to you, I cannot tell you how impressed I was from the very first second you came on Y&R as Kevin. I just remember going, who is this guy? And every scene, it was so raw, and just, it was painful to watch. You brought the angst and what was behind it, and it was so effortless to us watching it. And I bought everything, and you felt so bad for him eventually. You just felt so bad. And only someone like you can play that. You were able to play all those complexities, and you're doing it again, even with Leo, which we're getting to see you do the comedy, but there's sadness, there's all those layers underneath it. And I think you should be so proud of the work. And I'm so glad you're getting to play all these different parts, It's been an amazing, it's been so fun to watch.
Thank you, Michael. And thank you for those kind words and for years of support. And you really are, not just for me, not just for Liz, but you are such an asset to all of us, and in promoting the shows and promoting our work. And yeah, I am proud of myself, and really allowed myself to not just downplay this milestone, but really, it's, some people, you can easily get lucky and land a job, but I think to have a career that spans decades is something worth celebrating and being proud of.
And you survived it, and you kept going, right? You, even if there were the downs, there were, you know what I mean? Like, you rode the wave, right? So,
Eileen, on my last day at Young and Restless in 2017, Eileen Davidson said to me, this is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. And I was not in a place where I was capable of hearing that at that moment. But had I not left a job that was wonderful, but also safe and comfortable, had I not had my life shaken up in a way that I had no control over, I never would have gotten the opportunity to go play Leo, which has been such an extraordinary second act. And then in the midst of all that, this incredible job that I was so sad to lose came back. And when I say that I now understand what gratitude really feels like, it's that. And then last year, when we were doing the 50th anniversary photo shoot for Young and Restless, Eileen came over to me and reminded me that she had said those words to me. And she said, I told you. And now I get it. I don't think in 2017 I was able to hear it, but I can understand it now.
well, everybody here in the chat is wishing you happy anniversary, happy 20, and many more over and over. And
Thank
how
you.
much they love you. So you can watch Greg on Days of Our Live streaming on Peacock, and The Young and the Restless on CBS, and on Instagram and wherever else, to going against Rebecca Budding.
I'm gonna get her tonight for surprising me. Well, thank you, Michael, and thank you to all the fans. I owe so much of this to you guys for sticking around and for wanting to be along on the ride. So I hope we get to do this again in 5, 10, 15, 20
years. Happy anniversary, Greg. Thank you so much.
Lots of love, Michael. Thank you.
See you soon.